Good morning, students. In today's class of Managing Change in Organizations, we will read about a new topic, that is, what are the various stages of group development. But in the previous class, we have studied what are the various types of groups, how the groups are divided into two parts, formal groups and informal groups. The formal groups are again divided into task, command, committees, and functional group, whereas the informal groups are divided into interest, reference, and friendship groups. Now, we have studied each of these different types of groups in detail. We have also studied what is the difference between formal groups and informal groups, how formal groups are formed with the sanction of the organization and according to the hierarchy of the organization structure, where the behavior and the role of the members of the group are predetermined, and there is a purpose for having a formal group, clear purpose. Whereas when it comes to informal groups, the informal groups are formed spontaneously due to the social needs of the people or members of the group. They are not controlled by any predefined purpose, nor they are controlled by any rigid structure. An example of an informal group will be members of different departments having lunch together. These informal groups are formed so as to meet the social affiliation needs of the people. So this is what we have read in the previous class. So what are the formal groups, informal groups, what are the various types of formal groups, and what are the various types of informal groups. In today's class, we'll focus our attention on the various stages of group development, how groups are formed. Okay, so we'll start stages of group development. Groups do not form and become effective overnight. It takes time. There is a process by which the group develops from initial point to the maturity point. So the groups do not become not form and become effective overnight. Group development means the stages that work groups go through as they evolve and grow. So when we say there are various stages of group development, it means the various stages through which the work groups they go through and evolve and grow by undergoing the process of this group development. Then only it is known as the group development process. It involves a long process to develop a group of strangers to a unit of cohesive and well-coordinated group members. So it is not a small process, it's a long enduring process whereby a group of strangers now become a unit of cohesiveness and work coordinately as group members towards the accomplishment of the group goals, which is aligned with the organizational goals. Again, groups go through 5 distinct stages during the process of its development. So when we say the stages of group development, we mean the 5 distinct stages through which the group goes in order to develop itself. The main 5 stages are forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. We'll study each of the stages briefly in later slides. Now coming to the diagram, this is the diagram. The stage 1 is forming, the stage 2 is storming, stage 3 is norming, stage 4 is performing, and stage 5 is adjourning. What happens in stage 1 generally? The team acquaints and establishes the ground rules. This is the first time that the members of the strangers, the members of the group meet together for the first time. So they try to acquaint themselves with one another, and they try to form the some of the basic guidelines, some of the basic rules of the group. Formalities are preserved and members are treated as strangers. It is a place where they are trying to acquaint themselves. They treat the members of the group as strangers because they still do not know all the members properly. So this is the stage 1. What happens in stage 2, storming stage? Members start to communicate their feelings. They interact, they start to communicate their feelings, but still view themselves as individuals, but not as group members. Still, they consider themselves as individuals and do not consider themselves as the members of the group. They resist control by group leaders and show hostility. So, in this group, they try to resist any control by the leader or leaders, and they also show hostility towards one another. So, this is the stage. That is why it is known as storming stage. And then comes the third stage, that is norming stage. What happens in norming stage? People feel that they are part of the group, and they realize that they can achieve the work that is assigned to them if they try to understand each other's viewpoint. So some kind of little bit of cohesiveness has started to form in the stage 3. Now, if a dispute starts in stage 3, there are chances that the dispute will be easily resolved. Okay, so this is the stage 3 because the people have started identifying themselves, considering themselves as a part of the group, and try to understand each other's viewpoint. That is the norming stage, that is stage 3. Now, coming to stage 4, performing. Here, the group works in an open and trusting atmosphere. They work towards the accomplishment of the organizational goals and the group goals, whereby flexibility is the key and hierarchy is of less or little importance. Here, the leader does not try to control each and every activity of the members. The members themselves perform considering that they are part of the group. They themselves perform all the roles assigned to them. So this is the stage where they actually perform. This is the stage where is known as the stage of group maturity, where the group matures. This is the forming stage. And finally comes the adjourning stage, that is the stage 5. What happens in stage 5? The team conducts, after doing all the objectives assigned to the group. Sometimes what happens, if there are groups are formed for a fixed tenure of time, they disband or they dissolve the group. And sometimes if the group is a long for a longer duration, lies a standing committee or something, then what happens? New members are added, and old members, they go back to other projects or other departments from which they have come. So there is certain adjourning happening. And what happens in the adjourning stage? They try to also assess the group's performance and various roles that was assigned to various individuals, and how these roles were properly undertaken and how it was done. So this is also assessment is also done in stage 5, that is adjourning stage. Now we will understand each of the stages in detail. So the first stage is forming stage. What happens in forming stage? This is the first stage for almost every group and is an orientation stage. So this is present in every stage of group development. It is considered as the orientation stage of the group development, because here the members meet each other for the first time. They try to interact and acquaint themselves with other members of the group. The group members first come in contact with others and get acquainted with each other. So they try to acquaint themselves with each other. Now, this stage is characterized characterized by predominantly by a feeling of uncertainty among the group members as they now try to establish ground rules and pattern of relationship among themselves. So what happens? This group, these are certain characteristics in this stage of forming. What happens? There is certain feeling of curiosity, uncertainty among the group members as they try to establish ground rules and the pattern of relationship and communication among the members. And the stage is complete when the members of the group have begun to think themselves as a part of the group. So when the members of the group thinks that they are a part of the group, they consider themselves as the part of the group, then the stage comes to an end. So we can say forming is the initial stage of group development where the members first come in contact with each other and get acquainted with each other. And this stage is marked by a great deal of confusion, caution, curiosity, uncertainty, because they are meeting the members of the group for the first time. And so the formal leader exerts a great influence in structuring the group and shaping the members' expectations. This stage is generally considered uh, what happens in the typically this forming stage. This includes achieving an understanding of the group's purpose. Group's purpose is tried to be understood, determining how the group is going to be organized and how the responsibility and the various different roles are to be assigned. Discussions has to be made as to what are the various milestones that can be achieved, what are the phases of achievement of the group's goals, and also they will what is the time and the frequency with which they will meet, and discovery of what are the resources that are assigned to them in order to achieve the group's goals. So all these things happen in the forming stage. This is the stage where people start to work together as they make an effort to know the new members or new colleagues of the group. Okay, and this stage is complete when the members have begun to think themselves as a part of the group. Okay, so this is first stage of the group formation, that is forming stage. Now coming to the second stage of group formation or group development, that is storming stage. What happens in storming stage? Storming is the next stage that is characterized by high degree of conflict among the members. So there is a high degree of conflict among between the members of the group during this stage. Members often show hostility towards each other and resist the leader's control. The storming stage is the most difficult and the critical stage to pass because here the members often show hostility towards each other and resist the group leader's control. So it becomes very hostile situation is happening. Then what happens? This stage is characterized by conflict, confrontation, concern, and criticism. So these are the four main things that are happening during the stage 2 of group development. That is, there is conflict, there is confrontation, there is concern, and there is criticism among the members of the group. Okay, and but this conflict, confrontation, concern, and criticism, usually the group eventually comes in terms with each other. Even though there is conflict, confrontation, concern, and criticism, eventually the group comes in terms with each other, talking terms with each other, and accept the leadership role at the end of the stage. At the end of the stage, the members of the group, even if they are fighting, even if there is conflict, even if there is confrontation, concern, and criticism among the members of the group, what happens? They eventually overcome these obstacles. They come to terms with the other members of the group and they try to accept the leadership. So this is the end of the stage. What happens? Another thing we can do, what happens during the storming stage is struggles for individual power and influence are common. Since when we say there is conflict, confrontation, concern, and criticism, why this conflict happens? Confrontation, because there is struggle of individual power and influence. Everybody wants to be a leader now. The leader is not assigned, so there is a conflict. And the storming stage is where disputes and competition are at its greatest, because now the group members have an understanding of the work they're going to do, what are the various roles they are going to do. They have also developed a sense of belongingness, a cohesiveness that's developed among the group members. So the group members, they try to conflict and make their position clear in the group. To get through this storming stage, which is a very critical stage, the members must work together to overcome these obstacles and accept individual differences and work through these conflicting ideas. They should accept the individual differences among the members and should work towards this conflicting ideas, work through the conflicting ideas in order to accomplish the group task or the goals that has been assigned. It is here, it is to be main thing that is to be remembered, that if this conflict, confrontation, criticism, this grows a lot, if it is not, cannot be controlled, it sometimes results in long-term problems or may also result in the disbanding or dissolving of the group. So this is something very important to understand. So this stage is very critical. If this conflict is not, or conflict and confrontation is not controlled, then it may result to the disbanding of the group. But however, it is generally seen that the members eventually try to accept each other, comes to terms with each other, accept the leadership role at the end of this stage. So this is the stage 2 of group development. Now coming to the stage 3 of group development, that is norming. Norming is the third stage of group development process, during which the group members become closer to each other and the group starts functioning as a cohesive unit. So this is the stage where the groups actually starts functioning as a cohesive unit. Okay, and the group members become closer with one another. What happens? The group members now identify themselves with the group and share responsibility. During the norming stage, they identify themselves as part of the group and they share the responsibility that is assigned to them. If there is a dispute, it is comparatively easy to be resolved and the group gets back on track. So in this stage, it's very important to remember that even if there is a conflict or a dispute among the members of the group, since it is the norming stage, people have understood and identified themselves as part of the group. They understood each other's viewpoint and shared the responsibilities. There are more chances that this dispute or this confrontation or criticism that can be overcome, resolved, and the group can get back to its track, the track of achieving the goals of the group. Norming stage is complete when the group members can set a common target and agree on the way of achieving this. So when we can say that the norming stage is complete, the norming stage is complete when the group members can set a common target. They have a common vision, they have a common target, and they not only they can zero in upon the target, they can also understand what are the ways and means of achieving this target or the group goals. So what happens in stage 3, that is the norming stage, this is the stage where the group actually comes closer to each other and start functioning as a cohesive unit. The group members now identify themselves, they share responsibility, and try to achieve the desired level of performance. Group interaction is a lot more easier. Why? Because obviously they are considering themselves as part of the group, so there can be open interaction. They are more cooperative, more productive with the way they interact with each other. There is open communication, bonding is there, there is mutual respect among the people of the people or members of the group. There is a common consensus develops around who is the leader and the individual roles are well defined. So at this stage, everybody knows, every member in the group knows what are their individual responsibilities. They accept certain person, certain as a member, as the leader of the group. There is no power struggle, there is no fighting in between the group members. And if it is to be remembered that in this stage, if there is a dispute occurring, then this dispute is very easy to solve because the people are understanding each other, and this dispute can be easily resolved. However, in some cases it is seen that if there is excessive confrontation and criticism and conflict, sometimes the group may revert back to the storming stage unless the group makes the effort to communicate their problems and learn from the past interactions they have. If they can't learn from it, they don't openly communicate. Sometimes what happens, even if the stage has to develop to the norming stage, it may sometimes happen that it may result to the deteriorating or reverting back to the storming stage. So it is very important to understand this. However, we can say this stage is complete when the group members can set a common target, and not only the common can set a common target, but also try to achieve, understand the ways and means of achieving this target. Then we can say that the norming stage is complete. This is the third stage of group development. Now coming to the fourth stage of group development, that is performing. This is the stage, very important stage. What happens in performing stage? Performing is the fourth stage when the group is finally ready to start working. So in the first three stages, they were not working. The real work starts in the stage 4. So this stage, that is the reason this stage is of utmost utility and importance. What happens? This is the highest level of group maturity. At this stage, the group is at the maximum level of maturity. And what happens? This stage is marked by teamwork, role clarity, and task accomplishment. There is teamwork among the members of the organization. Everybody does their part in order to accomplish the group goals. There is role clarity, so there is no confusion among the what are the roles assigned to various people. They are very clear about the goals and they understand the means of achieving these goals. Also, there is task accomplishment. They try to together accomplish the task as a cohesive unit. There is a very beautiful atmosphere, flexible atmosphere where they can operate and perform in order to achieve the group goals and the organizational goals. This fourth stage is one that all groups strive to reach. This is the stage where each and every group that passes through the stages, they want to achieve this stage because this is the stage of group maturity and this is the stage where the group actually starts working and functioning. So every group tries to achieve this stage, yet some do not make it. Sometimes it may result that some people do not achieve the performing stage. They usually fail to overcome conflict and can't work together. What happens? They can't reach the forming stage because they have studied in the previous stage, that is in norming stage, that if there is too much conflict, the group may revert back to the storming phase. From norming to storming, it can revert back or deteriorate. So it is very important to understand that this is a stage of group maturity and uh, all groups try to achieve this stage of maturity. And you have to remember that in this stage, if the group is fully formed and after resolving the internal conflicts, and they share responsibility and they can devote their entire energy to achieve the objectives of the group. Now they are completely interested to achieve the objectives of the group. This is the stage which is marked by teamwork, role clarity, and task accomplishment. Everyone is in the same page. Everybody knows what is the work. Everybody is in the same page and driving with full speed towards the achievement of the final goal. However, the members of the groups are aware that the group possesses and the extent to which individual involvement is required in the group. The group is focused on the problem solving attitude. Now the group is focused on the problem solving and meeting the group's goals. That is the major idea of the members of the group in the performing stage. The task performance levels are at the highest level, so also the member satisfaction is also at the highest level because everybody is having clear, they're working as a team, there is role clarity, there is task accomplishment. So everybody, they want to perform at this stage. and the groups are also very performance oriented and problem solving oriented at this stage. However, you have to also remember that each and every group cannot reach this stage of performing, and we have to look into our interactions. We have to look into way to overcome the conflict in order to reach this performing stage of group development. So this is the fourth stage of group development. Now coming to the last stage of group development, that is the adjourning stage. Adjourning stage is the final stage when the group, after achieving the objectives for which it was created, starts to gradually dissolve itself. So what happens once the group has achieved the objective or the goals of the group for which it was created or formed, then the group will gradually start to dissolve itself or disband itself. That is the reason it is known as the adjourning stage. What happens in this stage? Groups are adjourned because of two reasons. First is the task is completed, or because the members decide to disband. Okay, either the task for which the group was created is complete, or the members of the group wants to disband. Then only adjourning stage happens. In the adjourning stage is usually associated with short-term project where the team members are expected to disband over time. When the team or when the group is formed for a small period of time, for a particular specified tenure of time for the achievement of certain goals, and once the goals have been achieved, then obviously it is expected that they will disband. However, it is to remember that this is the final stage of the group development process, and in this stage, the groups are adjourned because of two reasons: because either the task is completed, or the group wants to decide to disband itself with the sentimental feelings. The responses the members of the group may have are different. If the members of the group are very close to each other, are very cohesive, working as a very cohesive unit, they may feel, they may mourn, they may not feel good, they may feel down because they are leaving the group. Or suppose if the members of the group are completely attached with the project or the goals of the group, then they also may feel that they are left out because they are now no longer part of the group, and either they have to be a part of a new group. However, the adjourning stage is very important because mm, in the short term, it is already known that after certain period of time, the groups are going to be disbanded. This is expected. However, but there are certain permanent groups like standing committees here that work on a long-term process or for a longer period of time. Okay. Then in this stage also adjourning stage takes place. In these situations also adjourning stage takes place because due to the company's organizational restructuring. Sometimes the company restructures the organization. So due to this company's organization restructuring also, even though the group is a perpetual group or running for a longer period of time, then also adjourning stage happens and certain members leave the group and certain new members also become a part of the group. So this is the last stage of group development. So these are the various 5 stages of group development, and any group that has to develop has to undergo all the 5 stages of group development. Now let us understand the critical assessment of the stages of group development. The critical assessment or the critical appraisal. What happens? This 5 stage model, group development model, says that assumes that a group becomes more effective as it progresses through the first 4 stages. But this is not always true, that the group progresses with the first 4 stages. Under some conditions, high level of conflict is considered as conducive for the performance. So they feel that the group will develop with the progress of the first 4 stages. But we have also seen situations where the group to due to this conflict they perform better, or group 3 they perform better in comparison to group 4. So we cannot as a thumb rule say that the group 4 or the stage 4 is considered as the best stage for group performance. So as the 5-stage model says that the group becomes more effective as it progresses in the first 4 stages and is at the maturity stage or the stage of final uh, working of the objectives. This is a stage 4 and this is the most effective. That is not always holds true. Next, groups do not always proceed clearly from one stage to the next. Sometimes, in fact, several stages go on simultaneously. So we cannot say this is a step-by-step incremental happening, and each stage happens after the another stage. This is not always true, and sometimes simultaneously stages may continue to develop, or sometimes, as we have studied in the slides, sometimes the group may revert back to the previous stage. So always claiming that the groups will proceed clearly from one stage to another stage is not always true. Sometimes several stages work simultaneously, as when groups are storming and performing at the same time, or sometimes during the norming stage, if there is a lot of conflict, it may revert back to the previous stage, that is the um, storming stage. So this is another thing. Third is the 5-stage model ignores the organizational context. The organizational context and how the members of the group work in the work-related environment, that is completely ignored. The work-related behavior, the organizational context is ignored. Let me give an example to make this point clear. This 5-stage model states that it takes time and the group's development develops from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and stage 5. What happens when under situations, suppose at the last moment, members of the cockpit are decided they need to fly a plane. So then don't go through all the stages of group development and immediately they perform as a group, because they perform their objective is to fly the plane perfectly without any error. They do it, even though they very clearly do not go through all the stages of group development. So the work-related behavior or the organizational context of the organizational context is completely missed out by the 5-stage model. Another thing that is we have to be taken into consideration is that studies have confirmed that groups do not develop the universal sequence of stage. This universal sequence of stage, or this progression of stage from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 to stage 4 to stage 5, this universal sequence is not at all completely confirmed. So this is also one of the shortcomings of the um, 5-stage group model. However, the timing, even though the sequence of the stages is not universal, but the timing relating to when the groups are formed or change the way they work is highly consistent. Even though the timing may not be right, even though the sequence may not be right, when the group forms, how the group develops, how the people take responsibilities and roles, share responsibilities, and one how they overcome these individual differences of the members and try to perform as a group in order to achieve the group's goals are very much consistent in all the situations where the group develops, or the various stages of group development. Okay, so this is, we have understood in today's class what are the various stages of group development. We have also understood what is the critical appraisal, or what is the critical appraisal of the group stages of group development. I think that this topic is clear to you. If you have any problems, get back to me. If you feel any doubts, come back and contact me. There is no need to panic. Sit at home, prepare, and finally, thank you for your attention.